People see this image of these media buyers who are like, I can work from anywhere. I'm on a yacht at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Well, what you don't know is that those guys are up at 3 a.m. looking at the data and looking at the numbers and making those adjustments. They never sleep. They might look like they're living this really crazy, I'm not working in an office lifestyle, but they work 24/7. They work 10 times harder than us that work 9 to 5 in an office.
Everyone loves you in the industry, by the way. When you came on board, I got so many phone calls like, Dave, you got the Michael Jordan of paper call.
So I started in adult dating. The adult dating world is somewhat black hat. So I got to see a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that black hat affiliates make money.
What are you seeing in terms of common factors in people that are successful in pay per call?
At the end of the day, to be successful, you can't just send really low quality traffic.
I think real good business people are paranoid.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how much fucking money you made today, tomorrow's another day.
I live for my partners. The money is great, the money will come, but having that long-term, really in-depth, deep partnership with your client, it changes things.
So anyone that's new in the industry, right? Maybe you're trying to crack pay per call, what's your advice to them?
Get ready to level your shit up with the LFG show. We travel the globe to bring you heavy hitters from all walks of life. We've been talking some serious business, from the best digital marketers, government contracting experts, to top athletic and celebrity doctors. We've got it all covered. We're talking to guys who've cashed in for billions with a B. And the best thing is, we're just getting started. So hold on tight. We're about to crank it up a notch. Get ready for next level networking and masterminds within the LFG community. Scared money don't make no money or honey. Hit the subscribe button, drop a like, leave a comment, and let's fucking go.
Yo, we're wrapping up Affiliate Summit East 2024 New York City. We just had some banging pizza.
Woo!
Feels good.
God, it was
Feels
good.
good when you eat some good pizza.
After a long, hard day of networking, nothing is better than a damn good pizza.
Multiple days and nights of networking. I'm with Carly Beachler. She's a VP of Strategic Partnerships at Connection Holdings.
Whoop, whoop.
So excited to have you here.
So blessed to be here, Dave.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something, right? I mean, we started our company in 2016. And it's you know, it's a lot of ups and downs when you're in business.
Yeah.
When we have the right people on the team, it makes things so much easier. And people that are like good personalities, people that jive really well. And I'm really excited to have you in the team. And it's good timing, you know, what we have going on.
Great timing, honestly. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so blessed to be with such an amazing team. You and Ed have hearts of gold, and so does the rest of the team. And finding that cohesivity is very hard in the corporate space.
That's a great word, by the way.
Cohesivity.
Yeah, I love it. And listen, we're sponsored by Ringbar, right? We got the Paper Call Revolution book, a lot of paper call activity, and that's what you're on our team for, to build out the paper call. You got a lot of experience doing that. But before we talk about it, let's talk about your history. Listen, everyone loves you in the industry, by the way. But when you came on board, I got so many phone calls like, Dave, you got the Michael Jordan of paper call. Like, seriously, people told me this, and I had witnesses to prove that shit. So that made me feel good, and I felt like it was the right. I felt like it was going to work out from the beginning, and I'm excited already what I'm seeing. So before we talk about pay per call and everything, let's talk about how did you get in the industry? Because I didn't even know. You were in the dating world. You weren't dating people. You're in the dating industry, is what you were doing.
I was in the adult dating and cam space, honestly, and it was really funny because I was going to go to law school. And I took the LSAT and I got flying colors, and I could have gotten a scholarship to really any law school that I wanted. But I worked for lawyers and I realized how uptight they were. And I said, man, this is not the space for me. I can't be myself here. So randomly, I applied for a job at an adult dating site in the back end.
Where do you find a job for that?
To be honest, it was Craigslist.
Oh, wow.
Which aligns. It's pretty funny. Like, you can't get jobs off Craigslist anymore. Yeah. But back in like 2016, it still worked. It still made sense. So there was this weird random job posting for like a community manager kind of role, doing stuff with affiliates as well. And I applied and I got the job because I had specific experience in the specific niche that we were promoting. I won't go into that because it's too XXX. It's pay per call. We're not in adult dating anymore.
we keep it PG on the show.
Keep it PG.
Psych.
But anyway, so I started in adult dating, and the adult dating world is somewhat black hat. It's somewhat gray hat. It's a lot different than the insurance and finance white hat space. So I got to see a lot of different things and a lot of different ways that black hat affiliates make money. And especially in the dating space, you know, chat traffic is a thing, native is a thing, co-reg is a thing. And it worked really well in dating and we made a lot of money. And it was exciting because I live for my partners. Like the money is great, the money will come, but having that long-term, really in-depth, deep partnership with you know, your client, your customer, it changes things. It changes the game because that kind of deep partnership solidifies their bond with you. And you know, everybody I think wants to have that kind of family mentality when we think about our work. You know, people say don't work with family, it's bad. And maybe that's true, but I love having that idea and that love in the space with the Connection Holdings family. You guys are a family. You might be all from, you know, different mothers and fathers, but at the end of the day, we're a family and we're building something great together that we probably couldn't build by ourselves.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
that
about
is
that.
beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. I love that what you said about that. And you know, you talked about with dating and everything. Like people think it sounds like perplexing. What it is? My first affiliate world I ever went to was in Bangkok in 2017. And I remember seeing all these dating companies and like porn companies. I'm like, what the hell is all this? But there's so much activity, so much traffic goes through there.
I don't think people understand how much money is still made in the dating space. There are whole ad serve networks that dominate these porn sites. And there's so much money that's made in ad revenue on these porn sites. They rule the fucking ad space in the adult. And you know, my best friend is still like almost the CEO at kink.com. I'm still very involved in the space. I still know a lot of people. Funny thing to see a bunch of adult dating people now coming over to the pay-per-call space, which is great because those people know how to market. They know how to network. They know how to media buy. And teaching them pay-per-call has been the best thing for me.
Yeah, and I think that's the amazing thing. And you see a lot of people, you know, people that have gone from e-com to lead gen, or they've gone from lead gen to e-com.
Very popular that.
Yeah, and it doesn't always work. Like Ray Sinlad was on the show, a good friend of mine.
Love Ray.
Yeah, he was crushing e-com, and then he got into lead gen. It took him a little while, but once he cracked it, he freaking cracked it, right?
Once he cracks it, he cracks it.
Yeah.
And you know, affiliate marketing used to be this thing that just anybody could get into. And in a sense, it still is, especially in the adult dating space where you can get the free traffic on Craigslist and things like that. But the pay-per-call space and like the nuances of it are so different. And it's so much more complex, like you said, than just regular lead gen, e-com, drop shipping, what have you. There are nuances that come along with pay-per-call that don't exist in any other kind of lead gen space, in my opinion, personally.
So when you talk about the nuances, let's dive into that. So obviously those nuances create challenges, right? I talked to Peter Day earlier, interviewed him. Right. Yeah, I didn't realize that the kind of numbers he was putting. He said days, 7-figure days, million+ days, right? Yeah. And he's the one. He doesn't care. So give me any offer, we'll try it, and we know that maybe 5% of the time it's going to work. Yeah. When it works, that's what I live for. That 5%, right? Right. So obviously there's some challenges. And I think most people give up with those nuances, those challenges. I mean, would you agree, or what are the biggest challenges in those nuances?
They do, but you know, with great power comes great responsibility, right? You can do those $1 million days in pay-per-call with the insurance, the finance products, the mass tort products, the MBA products. You can do those giant days. And yeah, you could do those days in dating as well. You can do those days in any kind of lead gen. But the consistency and having the monstrosity that are these big debt settlement parent companies and these big insurance companies, like insurance companies have pockets that don't end. They are infinite pools. Yeah. And they, you know, as long as you generate good calls and clients who want the products, at the end of the day, it should be good. Yeah. But the nuances, speaking to the nuances, lead generation, you have, you know, it's a web form lead. It goes to a landing page. It either qualifies or it doesn't. With pay-per-call, it's an inbound call. It's a high intent consumer inbound call, but is it going to qualify? The agent also has to do a good job. That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, oh, maybe, you know, the affiliate's generating bad traffic. Well, at the end of the day, it could also be a bad agent on the buyer side. 100%. And so these are a lot of things that you have to think about in pay-per-call, and a lot of things that you have to kind of essentially be privy to, be aware of, because it will affect the ability to scale these things, and it will affect the ability to strengthen the relationship with your partner. And you have to be on top of it almost so much more than you do lead gen because of those nuances, because people are paid to sit in a seat and answer calls. And that is a different kind of cogs. It adds more into the cogs. And so these are the things that us in pay-per-call, we have to think about and we have to monitor.
So how do you actually do that effectively? The one thing about you, this is a reputation business. It's a relationship business at the end of the day. And I haven't heard one person say anything negative about you. Not that I'm looking for them to say anything there, but everyone.
I wait for that day.
Yeah. And that's the same thing with me, right? We try to do the right thing, but what are you seeing in terms of the common factors and kind of like people that are successful in pay-per-call or lead gen in particular? And do they have big teams, or I guess you've seen it all at the end of the day. So that's what I'm trying to get to.
It depends. Yeah. Honestly, in pay-per-call these days, you have to have some kind of investment capital to do the media buying.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, to be successful, you can't just send really low quality traffic. The high quality traffic comes from investing in the media buys, whether that's a Google, a TikTok, a Facebook, a YouTube, SEO kind of media buying, any of those things, it just involves more.
But what do you think is the kind of like, I don't know what this is, a secret sauce, or what's the affiliates or super affiliates that you see make it happen? Is there a common denominator with all of them? Or like maybe two
They're
magic
motivated,
ingredients? Yeah.
They're passionate, they don't sleep, they eat, breathe, and drink media buying. And I mean, to be a successful media buyer, it doesn't stop. People see this image of these media buyers who are like, I can work from anywhere. I'm on a yacht at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. Well, what you don't know is that those guys are up at 3 a.m. looking at the data and looking at the numbers and making those adjustments. They never sleep. Yeah. They might look like they're living this really crazy, I'm not working in an office lifestyle, but they work 24/7. They work 10 times harder than us that work 9 to 5 in an office. Yeah. Because they're freelance. They have to. Yeah. All of their money depends on how much they push themselves.
And I think what you said, it comes down to that they're obsessed with it, right? And
they're obsessed with it.
They're looking at the data, they're looking at the numbers, and they're good at recognizing patterns too.
Yes.
Right. And when they catch a pattern that works, they press the gas on that.
Yes. You have to know when to be dynamic, when to scale, when to pull back, when to pivot. And sometimes those things are hard. Like if you're used to doing one vertical or one type of traffic source for years, pivoting is difficult for you. But the really good media buyers are dynamic in different types of traffic sources. They have several different landing pages. They have 20 different flows. They test different verticals. They test different niches. They test, and they never stop.
Do you think also that, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, there's almost like, I feel as a business owner, like I think real good business people are paranoid. Yeah. Doesn't matter how much fucking money you made today, tomorrow's another day.
I will say that really good business people, another common denominator that maybe isn't so obvious is the ADD-ness. Yeah. They have to be dynamic. They have to move so fast and be on top of things all the time and be able to pivot your own personality in certain directions that is going to push your business.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that you understand that as an individual in the sense too.
Yeah, you have to. And it's funny you say that because everyone that I know, I was thinking about that because I'm all over the damn place, right? And my mind's always blah, blah, blah. My partner, Ed, is like that. And everyone I see that's like that, it's like you get a shorter attention span.
Right.
Because, time is money. Time is what money. It comes down to. And the more time you spend on X, that's less time you have for whatever. And I just I was in Europe with my family for 3 weeks, and it was nice having that time with them. But I'm still, they would go to bed at 10 o'clock. I was doing my work from you, and I had calls like 11 o'clock with her. That's when I could get my work done, right? Yep. But I'm like, I got a buddy of mine, he said the more successful he's become, the less patient he's been.
Yes.
And I feel I'm a nice guy, and he has good people, but it's because you don't want people robbing your time. That's that precious resource is what it comes down to.
Because time is money.
Time is money,
It really is. And some people, it takes them a long time to learn that concept. Time is money. And just as much as you have to be always turned on to make sure you're always making money, you also have to know when to give yourself a break, which is a very delicate balance, especially as a media buyer.
Yeah, it's tough. And then letting go of the reins too. So
what is it? Letting go of the vine from the Traction book?
Exactly. Yeah, a great book, by the way.
So good.
So what I was going to say is that, you start off as a one-person shop, one-person media buying. Maybe you get to 2, you get to 3. But how have you seen people make that transition? Like, let's take a Peter Day, for example, right? He started with his brother, putting up big numbers. Yep. Now they got a big team, people all over the world. So how do you think, what's been the current common denominator of media buyers or teams that have gone from just being a media buyer to actually assembling a team?
You
What have
know,
you
they
seen?
take all of that revenue and they put it back into the ad spend.
Mm,
And that's how you scale. You
yeah,
know, it's kind of, and that's the benefit when people talk about networks versus direct buyers. Usually a thing with direct buyers is they have long pay terms.
yeah,
Net 45, net 30. Well, the networks can pay net 7. And if it's a really good media buyer, they pay you the next day.
yeah.
And being able to put those funds back into the ad accounts to further push the campaign is priceless
Yeah.
for media buyers.
And I was gonna say, you remind me. I interviewed Michael Walker.
Yeah, love him too.
And I met, I don't know, this is in Colombia a few months ago in Medellin, and I know he puts up big numbers, and I'm like, how do you manage? Obviously, if you're doing hundreds of thousands a day in a week, that adds up to millions. In a month, that could be 8-10 million that you're out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do you manage this? So, you know what he did? He would have conversation with the buyers. These buyers were net 30. He's like, listen, for this to continue, I need to get paid next day or whatever.
Exactly.
But he knew the value of his leads, and because of that, he had leverage. He was able to get them to pay next day.
Right.
I've heard some people that pay like within 6 hours.
Yeah.
Have you seen that before?
Yep.
And yeah,
Sure have. And
Yeah.
damn, I will tell you, it really does help the scalability of the product.
yeah, 100%. Age data. There's only a few months left of this.
A lot of different ways to monetize data. Data is a very broad term. There's a lot more money in it. You already spent the money. Let's just say it cost you $10 for a Medicare lead. You make $1 million in sales, you really only made $100,000.
And you might not get paid by your advertiser.
What if I can get an extra 50 cents, $1, $2, $3 per lead in perpetuity? What does that do to my marketing campaign? What does that do for the stress of the profits of my company? A percentage or two at those kind of numbers are huge as moving the needle. So for us, what I love about age data, the hard part's already been done. Now it's just the revenue left for your company. What would the extra 10, 20, $30,000 a week do for your business?
Absolutely.
All of our big partners are making hundreds of thousands, if not millions a year with us. They're never going to have this gold rush again.
Well, that's why I'm excited to have you in the team, because for us, pay-per-call has been this kind of, I don't want to say it's elusive, but it's just kind of been elusive. It's been a thing where we'd make good money one month, next month we wouldn't. We're like so inconsistent. We've had some good open enrollment periods of time.
Right.
Good one 2 years ago. Did not so much last year, right? But it's also because it was newer for us. We didn't have the right team on it. People that cared, but they didn't understand it like they should have.
Right.
Then on the website, web forms, we've been doing it for a long time. That's been our bread and butter. Age data, good call centers, good. When it came to pay-per-call, we're up and down. So that's why I'm really excited to have your team. I can already tell. I'm talking to people. We talked with someone that I met in Dubai a while back. I could never get him going, and I think because I just had the person who was managing that account didn't know how to speak the language. He talks to you after 5 minutes. You left. He's like, Dave, that's who you need. I'm so excited. I can't wait to get this going. And now I can tell he's confident.
I think I remember who you're talking about. I love that guy.
Yeah.
Such good people.
But that's what it comes down to, the right people working together, because it's a relationship business.
And you know what? Honestly, like at the end of the day, it's my passion for people and my passion for my partners and my desire to see my partners win and succeed that helps me be successful in this business.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know, insurance is one thing. I'm not super excited about ACA. That's not what I love. I love my people, and I love my people, and I love my partners. And I love seeing them win, and I love seeing them scale campaigns and be able to put more money and grow and grow and grow and grow. And that is the ideal partnership for me. I've taken so many people from, $100 days to six-figure days.
Wow.
And that is what I love to see, that growth, that long-term growth, that consistent growth. That's what motivates me in this industry.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Everybody wins at the end of the day. And you know what happens?
Everybody wins.
Their families benefit. It's not just that one person. It's their families. It's their grandparents. Like I took my whole family. We went on vacation for several weeks in Europe.
So
right.
beautiful.
That's a result of our clients. Us doing the right thing by them. Then my kids benefit. The local economy benefits. Everybody wins. Right. That's I think people lose sight of that sometimes. I interviewed a buddy of mine has 2,000 people in a solar company, but he's impacted so many people. There was a Greek restaurant in New Jersey that he loved the guy because he would come there with the whole company. He was like make the guy's week when he came in there. Like you have this big impact, and it's a beautiful thing.
And I never asked for it. It kind of just came naturally, and I'm so blessed for that. I'm so blessed to have so many people who see me and they feel good. And I make them feel good. I make them feel special. And at the end of the day, like that's all I want to do with my life is make people money and make them feel special.
Have an impact. Everybody wins.
Yep.
So what's what's hot right now? What do you see the next year? What's working right now on pay-per-call?
God,
And
so
what
many
do you
good things.
see? Obviously, open enrollment's coming in a few months, but where do you see the next few months going?
Honestly, everybody knows that things are very interesting right now with ACA.
Yeah.
But Medicare is always hot. It's always going to pop. Spanish Medicare too. Obviously, Spanish debt. I think I'm most well known in this industry for specifically Spanish debt. It's still popping. It's still shucking and jiving. We're doing well. Spanish auto, with the changes in the auto space and the direct buyers having more appetite now, Spanish auto is also going to be very, very big. And I'm really excited to grow those things with us, Dave.
Yeah. I'm excited too. I mean, auto's evergreen. I mean, people
It
need
really
auto
is.
insurance, right?
So is debt.
Yeah,
Debt is
that is
evergreen.
too.
English too. English is actually starting to pick up now.
It is.
And it used to do really bad.
Yeah.
But I think everyone got so saturated with Spanish that now English has a chance.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I love, we've done a lot of Spanish solar in the past. So Spanish solar is hard to really scale because solar is very zip code.
It is.
Very fragmented. So
Home services in general are very
home services
fragmented.
too, yeah. But that's what I'm excited about with these nationwide campaigns.
Yeah.
And in Spanish in particular, my mother's Venezuelan,
Nice.
my wife's Colombian, right? And I just know anytime I did anything in Spanish, whether it was call centers or ads, it just converted better. And it's a very underserved market.
It's very underserved,
Yeah.
and that's part of the reason why it's such a profitable market to market to.
Yeah.
Is because they are like the Latino-speaking Hispanic community in the United States, Spanish-speaking communities in general. They're very rarely directly marketed to. I mean, think about cable in like the 90s, right? We had like 60 channels that were all English and news, and then like the 2 Telemundo channels.
Yeah.
Right? So they are very receptive to it because it's speaking directly to them instead of just this general audience. And the lifetime value is better. The conversion rate is better. And overall, it just works.
Yeah, so I've run a lot of call centers. Every call where student loan consolidation, solar, home warranty. Every time there was someone in Spanish, that converted at least double, twice as good as a non-Spanish speaker, right?
Right.
But what I found would happen a lot, because now I'm on the other side from running call centers. We still have a call center, but selling leads. What will happen, especially in solar, is that you get maybe someone in Spanish that would set the appointment, but they would fumble the second part. They'd send someone in English over there, and they will lose all credibility, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that is hard. It has to be a
Cohesive.
It has to be a cohesive consumer flow. Especially if it's like a person showing up at their door to fix their AC or their HVAC or, pull something out of their drain. And they have to be speaking the language that the consumer wants to be to speak.
And I think too with the Hispanic community, I have an aunt, she's Venezuelan, and she's done well for herself, 70 something, but she's been ripped off so many times from contractors, and she's a sharp person. Like, she's very educated, but she's got the wool pull over her eyes too. And I think that's the one thing with the Hispanic audience too, that you got to make sure that what you're saying in the ads is we talked about cohesive a few times. It's cohesive, right? At the end of the day. And I've heard you on calls with media buyers, and I know you don't speak Spanish. That's not your language, but you live in.
I know eliminación.
Eliminar. So you know which words that shouldn't be on there. But I was shocked because I'm on the call with you, and this is where I appreciate your expertise, because I see that shit. It looks good to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't fucking know, right? But then you see that, like, no, you know what's going to happen? That's going to give heartburn to the end buyer.
Yep.
The end buyer is the one paying the bills.
Yep.
So if they get heartburn, guess what? You might have a week, 2, a month, 2. At some point, it's going to end.
And these are the nuances that really affect and really will set a pay-per-call campaign up to fail or succeed. Is those little tiny tweaks that need to be made. And a good affiliate manager, somebody good managing a campaign will know that. And they will see that, and they will recognize it, and they will have the conversations with the buyers about these specific things.
Yeah. No, I saw you have that conversation. I was like, wow, that's great for you to. I mean, I had no clue. I thought you were fine saying that. I don't know, but it's this fine line, right? So
it really is.
How do you balance that fine line? I mean, you have so many people. They want to run aggressive, right? Because that'll give them the lower cost per lead, cost per call, whatever. And, we talked about black hat before. A lot of these black hat people, they're like magicians. They know how to get people to click, but they do it,
they cloak on Facebook and things like that. Honestly, it's transparency. I treat everyone like a human being. At the end of the day, we're both here to make money. We both want to make as much money as possible. Let's be transparent together. Let's be transparent with the buyer. Let's make sure all of our ducks are in a row. And if there's one duck out, then we adjust it. Maybe we push it back. Maybe we move it to the left. Maybe we move it to the right. I mean, media buying in general, especially pay-per-call, is always about A/B testing.
Mm-hmm.
It's always about slowly moving the needle and changing it a little bit, even if that means you need to improve on your quality or if that means you need to scale your campaign.
So let me ask you, obviously you've worked with a lot of different media buyers, affiliates. Give me like, I'm sure you have some horror stories, right? Like let's share one of them if you can. We're hearing a horror story and a good story.
I've got a horror story.
Yeah.
Okay. Hypothetically, once upon a time, there was this media buyer out there who was running very, very, very aggressive. And he generated so much volume because he was running very, very, very
Like what kind
aggressive.
of volume? 6 figures a day?
Like 6 figures a day in volume.
Okay.
And, you know, at my previous company, we were buying and selling, so we were technically brokering. And a bunch of my sources that I knew really well, all of a sudden had this problematic traffic coming through 4 or 5 different channels at the same time. And it was very confusing to me because it was abrupt and it, you know, the buyers shitted on me because of it. And I was like, where is this coming from? Turns out it was one very lovely specific media buyer, you know, just sending it to everybody. And unfortunately, because it was, you know, unfiltered and it just didn't work for the buyer, that was a horror story.
Yeah.
And I love this man to this day. He probably knows who he is if he watches this. But, you know, it's about that. Like, you have to be on top of it.
Yeah.
You have to talk to people. If you're going to run super aggressive, if you're going to run like crazy aggressive, then we have to let the buyer know.
Yeah.
So the buyer's agents can learn how to churn and burn those calls and convert them. Yeah. Because there's nothing wrong with aggressive at the end of the day if the buyer knows how to convert those calls.
Correct.
Positive story. Sometimes people come out of the blue who can change your life in a day because they have, you know, they have the investment capital to spend on these ads, to put massive media buys out there. And it really can change a network's day. It changed the progression of a network in a day because of how good it is. And I love the randomness of those, you know, hidden media buyers. Maybe they don't go to shows. Maybe they came from the e-com space and they're just now trying out pay-per-call. Maybe they were drop shipping and they're just now trying out pay-per-call. But these guys have the skills to succeed very fast with media buying, and they have that investment capital so they can put it behind the ads and blow things up very quickly.
What kind of investment capital are you talking about? Is it like
media buy, spend, being able to put money into the ad spend to get calls or get traffic to your landing pages, filter that traffic, and get them to call in. The CTA.
What kind of money though, in terms of like?
Probably $10,000 a day if we're really talking about some heavy hitters there. Yeah. Even more than that. That's probably only shaving the surface for some of them.
Yeah.
You know, I know a media buyer who's very open on his Instagram, and he will have weeks where he puts $600,000 into the ad spend.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
He put his revenue price like amazing.
He puts it up there, and like good for him because he's showing people what you can do in the industry if you have the ability to put the money behind it.
Yeah.
And there's so many people out there investing in things, like people fucking investing in Dogecoin. Fuck Dogecoin. Fuck Bitcoin. Come put your money into pay-per-call, bro.
Wow, you're right though. When you think about
it's like universal index life insurance. It's all about a risk and an investment and a risk, right? You can invest more strategically with pay-per-call and put money behind like innovation and the ad spend that will bring you more ROI than some shit like a Bitcoin.
Yeah, that you have no control over.
You have no control over
You have no
Bitcoin.
control over what...
You have control over pay-per-call. You have control over the lead generation.
Wow. What you said was just very, very powerful. We got this thing called spicy. We're going to make a spicy out of that.
I want spicy.
Yeah, that's a spicy clip, what you said, because it's so true. Like people always... You have some politician come in, someone gets elected, and guess what happens? They change the whole rules. They're like, oh, Bitcoin's illegal, and then the shit goes to zero, right?
Yeah.
Or a rumor could make that happen. Whereas it doesn't matter who the hell gets it. I don't listen to me. This person gets elected, that person gets elected. I'm always going to make money. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, if I can't do it in this country, I do it in another country.
It does fuck up the Facebook ad spend, though, the election.
Oh, you're right. I forgot it anyway. You know what? I keep forgetting that's happening.
It's weird, but it does happen.
It makes it more competitive. But you could always shift, right? If you know what you're doing. And that's what I see. I love this industry because I feel like media buyer, you got the confluence of media buyers, You got the biz dev people.
You
right?
got media buyers, you got influencer marketing,
Yeah.
you got people who do SEO, you got people who do native, you got people who can send traffic that are just like generating traffic themselves. They send that to your owned and operated landing page, generate calls from that.
Yeah.
You got co-reg paths so people can monetize that. Like there's so many different ways to do it in pay-per-call.
Yeah.
You just have to be innovative enough and not be afraid to think outside of the box.
Hey, and not be afraid to risk a little bit, put a little risk in it and just keep going with it.
With
and track
every
it.
risk comes a reward,
Absolutely,
right? Or
yeah.
a loss, but usually it's a reward.
And I also think it also comes down to coming to these shows, being out there, having conversations, joining groups.
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Like a lot of people in this space are intimidated because there's so many successful people. They're very smart. A lot of these people are geniuses, but like ask the stupid questions because we're all very caring in this industry. That's something very specific about pay-per-call too, is we all kind of really want each other to succeed. And people won't, they won't gatekeep that knowledge.
Yeah.
They will help you. They want you to succeed. They will teach you what to look for and what to see. And I have so many media buyers to thank for some of my skills because they said, hey, Carly, like this is a skill you need to know. And I say, oh my God, you're so right. And that's the kind of long-term relationship that I build with my partners, where it's a give and a take. We give back to each other.
Yeah, I love what you just said. It's so true. And it's like the law of reciprocity.
Yes.
You help somebody out, and listen, it might not always come back, but you do it enough, it'll come back in some form.
It's reciprocity.
And you never know when.
Yeah.
You never know when that's going to happen.
Correct.
That's great.
It brought me here. It brought me to you.
Yeah, for sure. God, I'm freaking fucking pumped, man. All right. So one last thing I want to say. It's funny because I was here, man, 2 months ago in New York, Geek Out. Geek Out. They had an event here a couple months ago, and man, the vibe in the. And I was part of the first Geek Out. I helped James Van Elswick set that whole thing up. I was a sales guy signing people up. So I've seen the evolution of it. But there was a nervousness in the air because of all these changes with ACA. People weren't getting paid. This company's going out of business. It reminded me of solar when all this turbulence happened there.
Right.
But there was like a shadow, like a black cloud, like something. It wasn't like all messed up. I felt a little bit lighter vibe here. Like there's more kind of hope now. People are like, maybe they've gone away from that, right? And
people
did
in
you feel that too,
people in pay-per-call aren't scared of anything.
Yeah.
We are so innovative. If that doesn't work, we'll find the next thing that does very quickly.
100%.
Very quickly.
That's what I saw here. It was a nice feel. It wasn't like, I don't know if that was May or June.
But I don't think it's going to be a problem, honestly.
Yeah.
Even at this point, I'm hearing things from buyers that it's not the dark shadow cloud that a lot of people think it's going to be.
Yeah, I think people got nervous. At the end of the day, it came out some advertisers going out of business too. People are owed money. That's never fun when that happens, right?
That sucks.
Yeah, but it's a very, what do you call, I don't know, perseverance. A lot of perseverance.
Yeah.
A lot of like, you get down, you come right back up, and we help each other out. It's what it comes down to. I'm excited.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So anyone that's new in the industry, right? Maybe you're trying to crack pay-per-call. What's your advice to them? Someone watching that, has a lot of questions, doesn't know where to begin.
Study your product.
Yeah.
Don't just rip and run. Don't just rip people's creatives. Have some authenticity and make your own shit. Even if that means you use an AI service or you use an outsourced person off Fiverr, but make your own shit, invest the money to not rip, invest the money to start slow, do it right, scale it right, and don't be afraid to ask stupid questions.
Yeah, I love it. Last question.
Yeah.
Biggest day you've seen in pay-per-call?
Oh, damn. There was a couple of really good days. 800K?
Wow, 800,000 in one day.
800K.
It's out there, and to hear it from you, I could say it, but like hear it from you saying, like you've seen it on the inside, I haven't seen numbers. I mean, I haven't personally, but I've heard that it's out there. When seeing is believing at the end of the day.
It really is.
Yeah.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
No money, no honey.
No money, no honey. And great way to end the show. Carly, super excited you have been on the team. Can't say that enough. How can people find out more about you? How can they contact you?
Honestly, you can hit me up on Skype, carly.croft. I have an old legacy Skype. I have my
yeah, I was going to call it Croft. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's my old dating name.
Wasn't that a cartoon? Not cartoon, a fucking video
Laura
game?
Croft Tomb Raider.
Laura Croft, that's what it was.
So back in the dating days, they let me choose a fake last name for privacy.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, I'm gonna be Laura Croft Tomb Raider because I'm a badass. So that's
I like
why. But you can reach me at kbeachlerconnectionholdings.com. You
Nice.
can reach me at carlybeachler.com. And you can reach out to Dave, and you can get to me through Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to see a lot more of her. We're going to have her a lot in the LFG show. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. I'm
Can't
glad
wait.
to have you in the team.
Every day
Still
I'm
a fucking
blessed
day.
and thankful.
Good shit. All right, let's fucking go. You heard it.
Let's fucking
Get in touch with
go.
Carly. You want to blow up pay-per call? Want to put up some big numbers? She's your gateway to making this shit happen.
Let's
fucking
fucking go. No money, no honey, baby.